Please don't be raining. Perfect.
Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
We don't need gimmicks like giant checks and mascots to promote this year's football contest because we're giving away even more money than we did last year.
$16 million in guaranteed prizes to be exact. There's 2 ways to win and no rake.
Players in Circa Millions make 5 picks against the spread each week with quarterly and full season payouts.
Circa Survivor entries select one team each week with no point spread. Last the longest to win it all. Visit circasports.com for details.
When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. RowPaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Canned Cocktails is perfect for your next game day tailgate party. Now, here's 4-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Yes. How we doing, Boise State fans? And welcome back to Bronco Nation News Live here at BroncoNationNews.com. We are back. We had a week off. Relax, refresh, recharge, and we are ready to go. We got John Mallory, host of Prater in the Ball Game 3 to 6 with us today, mixing up the days a little this week with some other days off and things like that. But Johnny, ball game, it's Tuesday. It's been a week off, so folks are ready for some BNN Live today. How we doing?
Yeah, I think they are, man. I think you're going to have a nice audience there today, BJ. It's going to be filing in, and yeah, hope that was a nice vacation you had, man. I bet it was pretty relaxing. What was it, a Mexico resort, something like that?
Yeah, we did. We went down to Mexico. We're still kind of on vacation. We're once again blogging from my parents' basement here, Johnny, in St. Louis for 2 more days. We're flying tomorrow back to Boise, but back working remotely today. But yeah, my wife and I snuck down to Cancun for about a week, and it was super nice down there. But the stuff kept piling up for work, and excited to get back and start tackling some of the stuff on my to-do list. We're going to take 2 questions today, Johnny, to help us catch up a little bit on the Countdown to Camp series as we continue to take a look at 25 questions, with the football team this year. And then we'll get into some players and things. But, luckily not a lot happened while I was gone. They're getting a couple commitments on the football side. They're building up that class, a couple big visitors in town right now. They did announce, Johnny, don't know if you saw it or not, just minutes ago, the Cayman Islands Classic field for the basketball team. Boston College, a surprise entrant into the field. But overall, not really a huge star-studded field as the tournament last year was, but an opportunity, a good mid-major field, I would say, some quad 2 games, and a chance, frankly, Johnny, to win 3 games. Last year, they went 1-3 on that East Coast swing. They got a chance to go 3-0 in this tournament, and maybe the wins won't be as impressive, but they'll at least have wins on their schedule, and maybe this is a situation where they have a little higher win total and a little less losses, and maybe that helps them a little bit. But Cayman Islands field is out. It's 8 teams that were in the tournament, 3 teams that made the NCAA tournament last year in Boise State, Duquesne, and South Dakota State. One of the top mid-major teams, believe it or not, expected to be this year is High Point. So that could be a good computer number game. High Points in this tournament, Boston College, and then Hampton, Old Dominion, and Missouri State. So again, from a name perspective, kind of a bummer with Rutgers and Mississippi State pulling out of the tournament in the last few weeks. But regardless, you get a few days over the holidays in the Cayman Islands, and you get a chance to hopefully win a tournament.
Is this an ESPN tournament, BJ?
It is not. I think the games will be on CBS Sports Network, if I believe, maybe that Flow TV or something for the first round. I'm not really sure. It's not it's not an ESPN tournament. No.
Yeah, there's not this tournament's not packing any punch from a national perspective. But I mean, if you're a Boise State fan, I guess who cares? I'd rather have a quad 2 win than a quad 1 loss. Get out of the non-con this year with 2 or less losses. That would be my goal. 2 or less losses. Last year, what was it? 4-ish?
Maybe
BJ?
5. Yeah, 4 or 5, yeah.
4 or 5 in the non-con, and it just didn't give them a lot of breathing room. Luckily, they were all okay, still made the tournament. But, yeah, try to clean up in the non-con. Try to win that tournament. Get better doing it. And, maybe this team doesn't need to test itself with massive opponents early like they wanted to do with last year's team. Maybe ease into the season a little more with, all the competition's going to be good. Those are good teams in this tournament. Every team is working their tail off, BJ, to try to have a good season. At that point, everybody still has hopes that they will have a good season. So you get everybody optimistic in there. Those tournaments are never easy. There's distractions, but maybe this field is what the Broncos need.
Yeah, and again, some folks saying won't be as good of a resume as previous years. I don't know if that's the case. I mean, are you adding to your resume that you lost to Butler and lost to Clemson and lost to all these teams? Like you're saying, Johnny, a quad 2 win, may end up being better than a quad 1 loss in some scenarios. So we'll see what the final numbers end up saying. But yeah, Rutgers backing out for that NIL tournament, that they're having over in, is it Vegas, with San Diego State getting in there, where each player, the team's getting $1 million or whatever. Rutgers backed out and got in that tournament. Mississippi State backed out. So tournament doesn't look like what it's supposed to, but for Boise State, take care of business, win some games, and we'll have to see. Some other basketball news. Not sure if you saw the report, Johnny, that a 6'9" Canadian grad transfer. His name is Dominic Parolin. He will be visiting Boise State this week. He's a grad transfer from Lehigh, and he averaged 11 points and 11.5 points, 6.5 rebounds. And he also shot 45.5% from the field. So 6'9", 245. Another grad transfer, potentially adding some depth, some competition there. They are a little thin, Johnny, in the post. I mean, you've got Anderson and Stanley, but who's your backup big? I guess it's Emmanuel Ugbo, but maybe adding a little bit more competition, another proven veteran body potentially in the post position to come off the bench. Dominic Parolin will visit again Lehigh, 11-8 last year, I believe.
Lehigh plays good basketball in the Patriot League. They're an upper echelon Patriot League team. And a guy who's played there, had a lot of minutes, had some success. I mean, if you're dropping 12 and 6 a night, I mean, you're playing the whole game. You're a 30-minute plus player in the rotation, certainly. Think Cam Martin last year. Where's that role going to be filled? Maybe this guy can be a nice, solid 3-and-D guy, come off the bench, play decent defense in the post, be able to hit an open three, be able to score while creating his own shot a little bit in the paint. Haven't seen the guy play, but the numbers in the background and this staff finding the right guy like they do a lot, I'm in. Yeah, they need this spot filled. Kind of think of where, the Cam Martin role type will be, kind of that third big BJ. Yeah. Play about 6, 7, 8 minutes a half. So about 16, 17, 18 minutes a night. That type of role, and that needs to be filled. And maybe this guy will get that done. What did you say, 6'9", BJ?
6'9", 245. And again, you're not looking for an all-league type player to come in with the last scholarship spot. You're not getting another starter. And so to get a guy that's, as you said, 12 and 6 in the Patriot League and a fifth year, 1 year left, as a guy that could play 10, 12 minutes off the bench, that seems like would be a pretty nice pickup to maybe round out this year's team. I kind of thought they were done. So if they were to add another player, he's also visiting Rhode Island this week as well. So we'll stay tuned for that. Simon says go ahead, Johnny.
VJ, what's his percentage from downtown? You said
he's 45.5 for the field. I don't know if he's a 3-point shooter or not. I don't have those stats in front of me.
His last name is Perryman?
Parolin. This is how you do live show here. You just Google on the fly.
P-E-R-I?
Oh, it's P-A-R. Come on. This is great live show here.
Okay, sorry,
His
man.
name is Dominic Parolin, Parolin.
Okay.
What do we got? What's Google say? This is great show prep here.
Carry on, BJ. Parol. Yep.
Lin. What do we got?
Sorry, man.
Dominic, Dominic Parolin, Parolin.
Career. Dominic Parolin
I don't think he's a 3-point shooter.
He is not a 3-point shooter. Well, last year he shot 33% from downtown, and he took about 3 threes a game. So
okay, he does shoot that 3 threes a game. All right.
Before that, though, he had hardly shot a 3 in his career. So 305 career 3-point shooter. Unless he's going to vastly improve, probably not the 3 guy you want. But again, if he's going to play in the paint, be some type of a big, be more of an inside player than outside player, yeah, that's fine. Sorry about the delay. I was on the football reference, not the college basketball reference.
We will get to football here shortly. Scott says just watched his highlights. He hit some threes. Josh is asking about Ugbo. We expect Ugbo to contribute this year, though, right? I mean, we've both seen this guy. He looks like a physical specimen, at least his body type. Looks like he's a NBA-type player in terms of how he's built, Johnny. We've gotten there early to some of those games, and he's out there working with Moats. I mean, I'm very curious to see what Emmanuel Ugbo can do.
Yeah, last year, benefit for him. He wasn't playing, but he was out there, right, BJ? He was working. He was being coached. He was developing physically, mentally, emotionally. I just don't know if I'm ready to go, hey, Ugbo's going to have a premier role on this team, even as a bench player. I don't know yet. He's young, man. Leon, typically, he plays older guys, and I don't know how a true freshman will fit into this thing. Think how, as good as Meadow was last year. He didn't play a ton. I just think at times Leon likes to lean on some of those vets. If he plays his butt off and he's their best guy at that spot, I guess. I just don't know where some of these younger guys are going to factor in this year on this basketball team. By the way, one of the young guys, Chris Lockett Jr., BJ, quick plug, we'll have him at 5 o'clock on Idaho Sports Talk tonight.
There you go. Perfect. Keeping the basketball talk going. Looks like Sean's taking a little bit of a shot at us here on a Tuesday. He says Hooked on Phonics works for all of us. Thanks, Sean.
I was not told we were doing basketball today.
I just kind of throw that on you. The Cayman Islands thing popped out right before the show. Our show meeting at about 7:30 this morning, we did not discuss basketball, so I do apologize for that. But again, recruit, we'll see what happens with Dominic Parolin visiting this week, and they do have 1 scholarship left for the men's team. And again, they're in the Cayman Islands Classic field officially. That tournament bracket is now out. I had forgotten, Johnny, they went down to the Cayman Islands in 2018, so this will be their second appearance in this tournament. And if all goes well and we get enough renewals this summer and subscriptions, Johnny, BNN hoping to be at the Cayman Islands Classic. Tough work over Thanksgiving week.
If we only get enough renewals, if we can just get enough people
to the Cayman Islands for 3 days.
Subscribe. If we could, then I'll be there and the coverage will be amazing. But
there will
we
be.
Just got to get enough subscriptions.
That's the name of the game, Johnny. That's the name of the game. That's the name of the game. We got to keep making money so we can keep paying your salary to come on these shows.
Yeah.
Derek says he's hyped for Lockett on KTIK today, so they are excited for that. But basketball talk in June, they're back at it. I don't know if you saw some of the pictures, Johnny. All the freshmen, all the newcomers have arrived. They are on campus working out. They're back to their, I think it's 8 hours a week. They can be on the court doing practices. So they're back, and basketball team is rocking and rolling. Individual workouts with Coach Burns and Berto and Duryea and those guys out on the court. They're getting the team practices in. So next year's basketball season is getting rolling right now. So let's switch the gears and talk football a little bit. Broncos, we're continuing our countdown to camp series. We got 25 questions looking at the football team. We're going to tackle 2 questions related to the defense today. But first, we want to thank a couple of our sponsors. Cutwater Spirits, more than 35 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails. You can pick one up at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Spirits, perfect for your next game day, tailgate, that round of golf, or any time you're looking to have a good time. Our studio sponsor, we appreciate Cutwater Spirits. Rowpaint.com, our title sponsor. Going to be having them out, Johnny, at the new house here shortly to do some interior painting. ROEpaint.com, the best in the business. Rowpaint.com, all your painting needs. And don't forget those concrete coatings. Totally transform the look of your garage, your back patio, your basement, any ugly-looking stained concrete slab you got. Let them transform it in one day. Check them out, ROEpaint.com. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. Brent Cotter in the home mortgage department did an unbelievable job with our home mortgage, so we appreciate Brent every step of the way, keeping us up to date, texting us, calling us, the paperwork we needed. It was a very, very easy process getting that home mortgage for our new house with Brent Cotter at ICCU. So if you're looking for, buy a house, check out Brent Cotter and Idaho Central Credit Union, and we'll give you more information. If you reach out to me, email me, I'll get you Brent's info. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com for all your banking needs. And speaking of buying a house, Matt Bauscher Real Estate, #1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. And I'll tell you what, I found out firsthand why that is the case every step of the way. Kelly, Matt, Cade, Sarah, the whole team at Bauscher Real Estate was on top of everything, did a tremendous job, and made it such an easy process both to buy and to sell. So I'm glad that we went with Bauscher Real Estate, and we paid the fees, did everything normal, just like a regular customer, and it was awesome. Really enjoyed working with Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate, and you will be too. So check them out at BauscherRealEstate.com. And shop Ridley's. Ridley's Family Markets, 14 locations in the state of Idaho, was down a couple weeks ago at that Cuno location. ShopRidleys.com. Check them out, and you can save up to 40% off at the checkout line using that new Skip app. So get the Skip app in your app store, and then use it at you don't have to wait in line. You can just kind of pay as you go. And check it out, ShopRidleys.com. Find a location near you. All right, Johnny, we're down to question 11. We're going to do 2 today and 2 tomorrow to catch up here and get back on track. We'll finish this series with #1 question next Friday as we finish up the month of June. We're looking at 25 questions facing the football team here going in to the season. Somebody's asking, by the way, if you lost a bet. Did you get your hair cut?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I didn't.
Just tuned in.
The question is yes. I lost several bets last night. I lose bets all the time.
You have the Celtics?
No, I had the money line on the Mavs with a couple bucks. I could score big, but no. What my hair? Like I went with a summer buzz cut.
I like it, man. I like it. I think it looks good. I like it. Everybody loves the summer buzz cut. Yeah, Jordan agrees. Johnny looking great, to be honest. So get off it, Bronco 130. You
guys always make fun of my looks, man.
We got question 11 and question 10 today as we get back on track here. And we're going to start with question 11, Johnny. Who will lead Boise State's defense in tackles? We got 2 defensive questions today. We're starting out with who will lead Boise State's defense in tackles. And I know the obvious answer, and just generally it's going to be probably a safety or a defensive back that usually end up leading the team in tackles. But I guess, bigger picture-wise, we're looking at some of the returning talent on this team and some of the returning tacklers. And I talked about it. I forget if it was with you or Prater. I think it was last week. But you start looking at that tackles list from last year, and as you go down the list, Johnny, a lot of those names are coming back this year. I mean, they got a lot of proven tacklers coming back.
They do, man. Right? I mean, this team, I think they tackled fairly well last year. I don't think poor tackling is the biggest issue of this defense last year, BJ. And I have a list. I think there's 3 candidates, staying healthy, of course, that can lead this team in tackling. I'm not sure where you want to go with it. If you want me to list them right now, or where you want to go, where do you want to start with this? But yeah, tackling, I don't think will be a massive issue on this team this year, BJ. And I think they got some strong candidates for who is going to win the tackle title.
Yeah, and I know a couple people are putting, and let us know in the ICCU chat who you're thinking it could be. But who will lead this team in tackles? You look at last year's numbers, Johnny, and again, I mentioned a lot of these guys coming back. But you look at Alexander Tubner. Not sure if he is on your list or not, but Alexander Tubner led the team in tackles last season, and I know a couple people are putting linebackers in the chat here. It's a little tougher for a linebacker. I know Leighton Vander Esch had an amazing season, but you look at your top 2 returning tacklers, Tubner and Oladipo. Tubner had 85 and then 70 for Oladipo. You do have Andrew Simpson returning at 66, Rodney Robinson returning at 61, and then Hassanian 53, Notriani 53. I guess go to your list and kind of talk about what you're looking at here. But I mean, Tubner and Oladipo, the 2 returning tacklers, both in the backfield. I would say Tubner in particular has a chance probably to lead the team again. Your thoughts?
I think we'll stay on the betting theme, right? If you're going into the Bronco Nation News sports book and you're trying to put some money on who's going to lead Boise State in tackles, and you look at the board, the favorite is clearly going to be Alexander Tubner. He led this team in tackles last year. I don't believe he's going to lose a starting spot this year. He's too good at what he does, and he's going to be the best version that he's ever been. You know, it's his fifth, sixth year of college football. Like, he's played a ton of snaps.
Yep.
I think Alexander Tubner, if he's healthy, that's going to be your favorite to lead this team in tackles.
What is he, minus 140?
More than that. I'm thinking like minus 190, minus 200. Okay. Like, he's a decent-sized favorite for this thing. You know, I think the long shot play, if you want a value play, throw $10 on it and maybe you can win like 100 back. I think it's Jake Ripp. I don't love picking linebackers for this either, but I mean, with the spring that Ripp had, it's going to be hard, I think, to keep him off the field. Now, he's going to have to beat out Notriani, right? And that's going to be a sweet competition that we should probably spend more time talking about. No one's going to start over Simpson at one linebacker. The other spot, it's Notriani and Ripp. And I'll tell you this, Ashton Genty, you know, I've talked to him on Idaho Sports Talk. Like, he doesn't stop talking about Jake Ripp. I trust Ashton Genty's opinion of what defensive players are playing well. That guy knows better than anybody which linebackers are, you know, better at, you know, tracking him down, tackling, everything that comes into play there. So when Ashton Genty falls in love with Jake Ripp, I want to fall in love with Ripp a little bit too. I don't think he will, but I think that's a value play. And kind of a couple other plays. You mentioned Oladipo. Yeah. Does he take that next step this year and become the leading tackler on the team? I think Tubner is probably in better position in most cases to make tackles based on where they line up on the field. You know, say Oladipo's more on one side, but I think those are probably the only candidates I can think of. I mean, Ty Benefield, massive long shot, but maybe. I mean, if Benefield gets to play a ton and they use him in a particular way that's going to put him in position to make a lot of tackles, he's going to make a lot of tackles too.
I like the betting odds. I like putting betting odds on that. That's interesting. Yeah, Ty Benefield would be a very sneaky, you know, plus 450 or something to try to lead the team in tackles. And I mean, and it's funny because, you know, the leading tackler is not necessarily the best player or best tackler, and a lot of times that's why it ends up being a defensive back, because they're just the ones that comes in and gets the guy on the run, and it's also not like, oh, he's the guy giving up all the passes and has to make the tackle. It's just a lot of times safeties are the ones that are in there making the plays and leading the team in tackles. Just the way it works. J.L. Skinner, I know, led the team in tackles at least once. That's just kind of how it works. I mean, Leighton Vander Esch had that massive season at linebacker and led the team in tackles, but it's typically, for the most part, a defensive back. So I agree. Tubner, Oladipo seem like positive, you know, possible ones there. But again, Andrew Simpson was third on the team. Johnny's 66, and we expect Andrew Simpson to take a jump forward as well.
Yeah.
So he's interesting.
Very respectable. Could do it too. I just think like his role, I don't think maybe will allow him to just be like a tackle compiler. Yeah. You know, he plays on one side of the line, but yeah, he did. If he was third last year, then he's definitely in the mix. And, you know, if Notriani, if he wins the job and he has a hell of a year, he could be in the conversation too.
Yeah, I agree. Somebody asked, maybe the better question is who leads in tackles for loss. Texas Broncos asking tackles for loss. You had 16.5 for Ahmed Hassanin, 16 for Andrew Simpson were the two last year. So anybody else jumping in the mix, or is it going to be one of those two? What are you looking at tackles for loss? Again, Ahmed Hassanin, 16.5, and he had 12.5 sacks. Andrew Simpson only a half behind him at 16 tackles for loss from the linebacker spot.
That's good stuff. That's, you know, 30 plus TFLs from just those two players, which means you're getting a couple of those a game. I mean, I don't know who's going to pop. Virgin Morgan, possibly. I'll throw Ripp and Notriani there again. Possible TFL candidates. Shea Oladipo. You have a lot of opportunities to get TFLs if you play nickel. Maybe a sweep or reverse to that side, and you're able to get somebody behind the line of scrimmage. But Ahmed and Andrew Simpson, both all league players last year. I mean, that's going to be an interesting stat to see who goes after and wins that. I'll take right now Simpson to have more TFLs than Ahmed, because I think he's going to be facing 2 and 3 dudes.
Yep, it's easier to focus on a DA.
They're gonna be all over him on every play. I could see, sadly, his stats dropping, but him being a better overall player because he just demands more attention, so he doesn't get to compile as many stats.
Checking the ICCU YouTube chat here. Benson says Andrew Simpson or Marco Notriani. Benefield breakout season on deck. Mark says Simpson. Clint says Tubner going to take the reign again. Tubner could knock out Chuck Norris. Let's be honest. Bronco Nation updates, agreeing with you. It's Jake's time for Jake Rip there. Also, Buck will be breaking out in 2024. Another Benefield mention as well. And then what else we got here? Johnny, let's see. There was another ball game looking muy guapo. So a lot of love for ball game in the chat.
Yes.
Let's get to our second question on the top 25 here. So again, we're saying Tubner's the favorite. I mean, are you taking Tubner if you had to pick one, even at the big odds?
I'm taking Tubner. Throw, $50 on that and get 30, 35 back and be happy with it. If he stays healthy, I think he does. I do like the Benefield talk. Like if they somehow, some way put Benefield in Tubner's spot that he played last year, why wouldn't Benefield get all those Tubner tackles and maybe even a few more because he's faster, because he has more range, he's longer, he's more athletic, he's not tougher. I don't know if he's stronger than Tubes. They're two really good tacklers. If both those guys are flying around, roaming around in the secondary, there's not going to be a lot of missed tackles back there with Buck and Tubes, dude. There really isn't.
And I guess I'll say with Oladipo, don't forget we haven't mentioned Rodney Robinson, who was fourth on the team in tackles last year back. I mean, this may be a situation where they rotate a lot, and these tackles kind of gets shared a little bit and split a little bit. So maybe a guy like Andrew Simpson could jump up there again and lead the team in tackles. We'll have to see. But again, Tubner is definitely the favorite, and I'm a Tubner guy. And maybe it's because I met his dad at the golf tournament, and he was really cool. But I think that some of the hate that Tubner gets, and for some of the pass coverage stuff, isn't necessarily always his fault, and it looks like it is sometimes on tape. Is he the world's greatest defender in coverage? Probably not. But is he still a very, very solid piece of this defense that I think is going to be a big part of this team? That I think Spencer Danielson realizes is a big part of this team. I do. I think Tubner is going to be out there a lot this year, even though he is going to get pushed for some playing time by some of those other guys. So very curious how the rotations work out at safety, and maybe that will impact things a little bit. But if I would agree, if I had to pick somebody right now, and again, we're picking the guy that led the team on tackles last year, so we're not really going out on a limb here. But I think you do go with Alexander Tubner, and then we'll see what happens elsewhere. So let's get to our second question here. But first, we need to thank a couple more of our sponsors. We're going to look at the pass defense. Speaking of pass coverage, Lithia Ford of Boise at lithiafordboise.com. Check them out. View their full inventory of vehicles online. They got a lot of great deals right now on the F-150. You can do what the Raines family did. We looked online, found a couple, did all of our research, went in, test drove them, and we were on our way in a couple of hours. So they make the process so easy. Jim Sturk and Company, again, speaking of Andrew Simpson, one of 4 players driving a Lithia Ford of Boise rig. So check them out, lithiafordboise.com. They got 6 NIL deals. They're supporting Boise State. They're supporting BNN. Next time you go to purchase a vehicle, return the favor at Lithia Ford of Boise, and shout us out on social media like Rodney Robinson did, or Robbie Robinson, I should say. And if you buy a vehicle from them, post it, tag us, let us know. We would appreciate that to show them that their advertising is working. Taco Bell, do the same. Go eat Taco Bell. Post it on social media. We'd love to show them that your advertising is their advertising is working. TacoBellWorks.com. Great food. My kids are loving those cheesy roll-ups, and they're like $1. You can go feed your kids for like $5. They get the slushy, and then they get a couple cheesy roll-ups for $1. It's cheap. It's good food. Taco Bell, check them out. And again, they're hiring. So if you're looking for a job, you get half your wages the next day after your shift. You get free food while you work. Great promotional opportunities. If you ever thought of a career with Taco Bell, if you haven't, you should. TacoBellWorks.com. Get more information. We appreciate the SON Management Group and the Nicolason family for their support of BNN. We also appreciate Travis Hawks, the Blue and Orange store. We're doing a store. Mike Prater and I will be out there at the Capitol 11 building doing a broadcast. theblueandorangestore.com. We again, free shipping any order over $40, or if you're in the Boise Town Square Mall, just go to the second floor there. It's right next to the Pro Image, and now the Pro Image for kids. An entire store dedicated to Boise State apparel and gear, and they've got the Ashton Genty NIL shirts, all the other NIL shirts, all kinds of Boise State gear. We really appreciate the support from Travis Hawks and the Blue and Orange store, and hopefully you'll go check them out at the Blue and Orange store.com. I was in Mexico, Johnny, and you're talking to random people by the pool bar, and I met a guy named Warren who is a truck driver in the Midwest, and he actually signed up with Transportation Compliance Service to get his trucking stuff done. It was totally random. We got talking. So I have a sponsor, and he actually uses Transportation Compliance Service. So transcomservice.com. Check them out if you're thinking of getting into the trucking industry. Maybe you haven't thought about it, but it's a booming industry right now. We're coming off the pandemic. So transcomservice.com. Check them out. All your permits, all the things you need to get out there towing that first load in no time. Local company based in the Treasure Valley, transcomservice.com. And speaking of live broadcast, Prater and I will also be out at Lean Feast, leanfeastmeridian.com. We appreciate Lean Feast. I'll be putting in my order so it gets delivered tomorrow when we land back in Boise. And again, there's zero excuse now to not eat healthy because they deliver anywhere in the Treasure Valley. Leanfeastmeridian.com. Check them out. Over 10,000 combinations of fresh, healthy meals. All your different diets can be met and kept on this plan. And super thankful for Dave and the staff over at Lean Feast. Can't wait to get back. And you go on vacation for a week, you don't eat healthy, and for me, it balloons up pretty quick. So excited to get back to Boise and get eating healthy with our friends at Lean Feast. And Johnny, I do want to throw one more plug in before we get to our second topic here. I'm wearing the Circa Sports hat. We had someone else, again, Melinda Draper, emailing me interested in getting in a team for the Circa Sports contest, and they are willing to sponsor up to half a team. So again, these are $1,000 entries, and you get you can do the Circa Survivor or the Circa Millions. And again, you have to sign up in Las Vegas, but you can play from anywhere, and the BNN team can sign up to 10 entries. So I can sign you up while I'm down there, but it's now down to $500 if you want to split an entry with the Draper family. And again, $10 million, winner take all, $10 million, Johnny, for Survivor, and then $1 million to first place, $6 million in guaranteed prizes for the Circa Millions contest. We'll be entering a team for BNN and hoping to get some others involved, and we're trying to get at least 5 entries on the BNN side. And so if you're interested, you can even go down to Vegas for the contest weekend. It's week 0. Bet on some college football. You can enter the contest. There's like some open bar events at the pool, hang out with Derek Stevens, the owner, and everybody. So we appreciate our sponsor, Circa Sports. Join us in Vegas in August 22nd, I believe, is the date. We'll be down there doing some live shows as part of their contest weekend. Would love to have some folks go down there and sign up. So reach out to me, email me. I can get you a deal on a hotel. You can sign up for the contest, have a fun weekend in Vegas. Rains@BroncoNationNews.com. Send me an email. And Johnny, they moved media days up. We're 3 weeks, man. 3 weeks from right now, you'll be getting ready to do a show at the pool at Stadium Swim there to preview media days. 3 weeks.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that puts it into perspective. That always kind of kicks off the season for me. Media days where you really start paying attention to the other teams in the league and throughout the nation. And then you get to, of course, talk to all those coaches down there, really get ready for coverage for the season. And it's going to be interesting this year down there at Media Days. Circa, again, they hit it out of the park last year, and hopefully we get down there and get some good information for all of Bronco Nation to be able to use and gain knowledge from, man.
Yeah, looking forward to it. And I guess we can go ahead and announce it, Johnny, because I booked his flight. Mike Sanford's coming to Media Days as well. And he is going to be a BNN correspondent, probably sit down with you guys and come on KTIK maybe both days. But Mike Sanford Jr., nope, not Jr., Mike Sanford is coming to Mountain West Media Days. He's got some other affiliations with Nate Kreckman and the Altitude Network there in Denver. And he's going to have a whole lot on his plate. But Mike Sanford will be making daily appearances on Bronco Nation News Live as part of Mountain West Media Days. Prater and Johnny will be making daily appearances where you guys will be doing your show down there. We'll be down there. We're teaming up for some coverage here. We'll be doing some cross video and things. It's going to be a lot of fun, but maybe we can get a special live edition of Ball Talk one of those days there on the BNN set.
I mean, if enough people subscribe and sponsor and support BNN, I mean, BJ's got a lot of expenses. So, yeah, if you guys, BJ, if you're willing to pay for a Ball Talk Media Day edition, I think maybe we can work something out. Heck yeah.
Okay, so we need about 5 subscribers to cover Sanford's flight, and then we need 2 subscribers to cover Johnny's fee for Ball Talk. So if we can, I would have thought getting you down there and helping pay your way to Vegas would have been enough for a free ball talk. But if I gotta, I'm not surprised Johnny's trying to make an extra buck off this trip. But if we have to, let's get a few more subscriptions. We'll get you a special ball talk, Johnny and Mike Sanford on the set. And I think Mike might sit in on some of the interviews with me. If we get some of the opposing coaches on, that might be kind of cool. Mike Sanford sitting in on some of the interviews with some of the Mountain West coaches, and he's going to be kind of a special co-host for the week. So I'm looking forward to that. And again, that's only in 3 weeks. Crazy to believe. Mountain West Media Days. So question 10, Johnny, will Boise State's pass defense be improved? And we've got it at number 10, but I think it's one of the bigger questions on this team when it's going to come down to the success or lack thereof of this defense and of this team. Historically, Johnny, a very bad pass defense last year. They gave up 250.4 passing yards per game, 110th in the country. It was their worst since 2005. So you're talking 18-year low for the pass defense. They were 261 allowed in 2005, but a historically bad pass defense. It was not good last year. And again, we're talking 250 yards, Johnny. Last year in 2022, it was 167. So you're adding, 75 plus passing yards a game that they gave up last year. And also, Johnny, the 60.8% completion percentage that they gave up, that was the second highest in the last 10 years at Boise State, the fourth highest in program history. So they were giving up a lot of yards and letting teams complete a lot of passes on them. I can keep going with the stats. I know you got some as well. 19 passing touchdowns, and they only had 11 interceptions. We're going to get to the interceptions and the takeaways in a question next week. But 121st, Johnny, in America out of 130 teams, giving up 51 passing plays of at least 20 yards. So, I mean, the stats were not good. They were historically bad. The question is simple. Will the pass defense be improved this year?
I think it'll be greatly improved. It has to be. Sometimes you can only go places but up. You can only get better. I'll just be blunt. The pass defense on Boise State last year sucked. They sucked at it. They sucked. 110th in the country. That sucks. 133 teams. It sucks. 110th. I'm not here to blame one person. It's everybody, right? It's everybody's fault, from the coaches to the players to the schemes to maybe the lack of pass rush in certain situations where it would help the coverage guys, give them that little half a second extra to stay with the guy. I mean, there's a lot of things. It's not just Alexander Tubner or Rodney Robinson, corners as well. They need to fix that. You can't get to where they want to go, giving up 250 passing yards a game, completing over 60% of the passes. That means you're just getting worked. Teams are just doing what they want to do on you, right? They're picking up third downs. The splash play, they ranked 100 and was it 121?
Yep.
121st, 121st in giving up splash plays.
51 passing plays of at least 20 yards. So you're talking like four a game, 3 to 4 a game passing plays of at least 20 yards.
I mean, it's hard to picture maybe what they would have done last year if they ranked 72nd in pass defense, not 120th or 110th, whatever the category is.
They weren't talking about 5 games. Was there 4 or 5 games they lost by 1 possession? Yeah.
They sucked. That has to be fixed. That's the one thing for me. Like that, you can't get to where you want to go if you're giving up that many passing yards. Like I said, PJ, that's even with an Air Force game. You get Air Force on your schedule, and it's like a freebie. You got to play a game, and then you don't have to give up more than 100 passing yards. Evens it out a little bit. If you crunch those numbers and you take away Air Force, then they're probably giving up 260 yards per game or maybe more. It sucked, and it has to be fixed. If it's a personnel thing, if it's a scheme thing, hopefully they've fixed some of the issues, and that isn't a problem next year. But I mean, gosh, Dylan Gabriel and Otson with a ton of weapons on probably a beautiful Eugene Saturday. I mean, that if the secondary isn't capable, Oregon's going to expose that, and fans are going to get really frustrated. Fans are okay with losing to Oregon, But if they're getting beat left and right, and when they see what they saw last year, think Washington stuff, and the fan base, they're going to be all over the people responsible for cleaning up this pass defense. And hey, Oregon's going to do that to a lot of teams. They're going to shred. We all know that. But, this pass defense, BJ, has to be better than just a Mountain West level, because this team wants to go to the playoffs and hopefully do some damage when they get there. And that you can't do that if you can't cover guys.
Yep. And I would say a couple of things as reasons why that might be better. I mean, a lot, the safeties are pretty much all coming back, but there is a new safeties coach in Tyler Stockton coming over, the defensive coordinator at Ball State. He is the defensive coordinator as well. So he's going to bring in some new things. And then, you have DeMario Warren, who I know gets criticized a lot, even on this show. But he is not coaching special teams. Maybe he has more time just to focus on the corners. And then don't forget, you got 2 new corners as well. You're bringing in Irby from Cal, and then the Washington kid, Banks, right? You're bringing in two new experienced Pac-12 corners. Maybe that helps a little bit shut things down as well.
Yep, it does. The Banks kid, dang, man. He was, I think he was a Chris Peterson. Maybe not that old. He was probably a Jimmy Lake recruit there up in Seattle. Maybe Pete initiated the recruiting process, because I know he was a high-level recruit, and dadgummit, he just couldn't stay healthy. He's the Washington Huskies' Markel Reed, a guy they really liked, but damn it, he's just not ever available. He wants a change of scenery, plus he wants to play. He's looking at all these situations. Certainly, he knows full well Boise State's numbers against the pass last year. He wants to come and help. He wants to play, and he still wants to play a high level of football, and that's what Boise State is. He could end up being a nice piece, BJ. Absolutely. And Irby, no question, okay? They're better at corner this year than they will be last year. McCoy didn't get in the swing of things till the second half of the year. They start this year, and it's McCoy and it's Irby. Maybe the Washington kid figures out. Maybe Markel Reed in a third or fourth corner role could excel in a limited role like that. It has to be better. It will be better. But BJ, is it too much to expect to say, hey, can it be in the top 50? Can they jump from 110 to 49? Feels like that's asking a lot. I don't know, but this is a big issue for this team, and this is going to be a party pooper for a lot of other areas on this team if they give up 51 pass plays of 20-plus yards again this year. My God, man, they got to clean that up. I know I'm beating a dead Bronco here on this one, BJ, but 110th out of 133. Period. End of story. It sucked. It's got to get better.
So they were 250 yards last year, and again 2 years ago they were 167 yards. Can we at least? Is it fair to ask to get under 200?
No, I think that's unfair.
50-yard jump is too much. Okay.
I think it's unfair to say you're not gonna give. Man, that means all of a sudden you're terrific at this. Yes. You went from shitty.
Well, 2 years ago, they must have been. I don't remember a ton about it, but I mean, you had Matlock and you had Skinner on the defense 2 years ago. 167.7 2 years ago.
And there were just a lot of games, and there was very foul quarterback play, and they just weren't throwing the ball very much. I remember that year, but yeah, they were better at it. Obviously, no question.
Well, again, the Cutwater Studios on the road in St. Louis, heading back to Boise tomorrow. But Cutwater Spirits, more than 35 flavors, pre-mixed premium cocktails. Pick one up at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Spirits, we appreciate them. And Johnny, appreciate you for flipping days today. And again, you mentioned you got Chris Lockett. What else we got coming up on Idaho Sports Talk today?
Prater still on vacation. This is, sports radio. So June and July, we're taking as many days off as we can because we just can't take them. I can't take a vacation day from basically late August to Christmas, not in sports radio, not in Boise, Idaho during football season. So we get all these vacation days out of the way. Bob's filling in. I love doing shows with Bob, obviously a lot of fun. Chris Lockett Jr. will highlight it. What else is on the Boise State schedule today? Probably some men's basketball talk, BJ, getting ready for Chris Lockett. So that'll be fun.
Hey, speaking of basketball, don't forget about Alex Martin. You can reach him at 417-629-6832. Alex Martin is renting out bounce houses. He does tremendous job cutting lawns as well. We rented these 2 bounce houses. You get a discount if you get more than one from Alex Martin for Naismith's birthday party a couple months ago. Highly recommended. Very affordable, much cheaper than you'd think to rent a bounce house, and it was an awesome thing for a birthday party. Kept the kids busy for hours. So if you're looking for a birthday party, support one of your fellow Broncos. Alex Martin was on the basketball team last year. I still haven't heard. I don't know if he's coming back or not this year, Johnny, the brother of Cam Martin. But again, 417-629-6832. Also does a tremendous job running a lawn care business. So he's been cutting our grass, very affordable price. So if you're looking for sprinkler work, any kind of landscaping, grass cutting, Alex Martin, 417-629-6832. Highly recommend Alex and what he's doing there with his company there. So Johnny, appreciate you again. Thanks to all the commenters. Thanks to all the folks that ask questions. Again, go support the sponsors. Keep this show free of charge on YouTube. If Johnny jokes about it, but it is a real deal. You got to support the sponsors and subscribe and help promote and keep this thing affordable and free here on YouTube. So hope you enjoyed the show. Jay Tust, who flipped days with Johnny, will be back tomorrow. He did ask for a portion of your paycheck, Johnny, for switching days. He said it was a big inconvenience to him to switch days. So, but Jay Tust will be back tomorrow. We'll tackle a couple more questions. And then Prater will join me on Thursday when he's back as well on KTIK. So we'll be listening. Chris Lockett today, Bob and JP and Johnny there, 3 to 6, Idaho Sports Talk from their studios, the Row Paint Studios in downtown Boise, 3 to 6, KTIK at 95.3 FM, 1350 AM. And again, look at that hair. Johnny Mallory with the summer haircut. We appreciate you, Johnny. Thanks, guys. Have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you later. Bronco Nation News Live here at Bronco Nation News.